us. And with that, we are so grateful that you joined us today on Biz Talk. We will see you all again next week.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rachel. Once again, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.
This has been a NowMedia Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome back to Legal Talk. I'm your host of the show, John Mitchell. Boy, oh boy, am I excited. I am overflowing with an abundance of joy today to have all of you out there watching the show. So appreciative, so happy, and I'm going to do my very best, like always. I'm going to try and bring you some really good information that is timely, information that you can use for your benefit, okay? Now, as people know, you can see here on the screen, I am a tax attorney. So when I talk about topics, it's usually going to be mostly about taxes because that's what I know about, right? You don't go to the butcher and ask him about cutting hair. You don't go to a barber and ask him how to change your oil. So you want to know about topics, tax topics. That's my thing, right? So I'm going to jump right in and talk about a question that I was asked recently. And believe you me, I get asked this question a lot, quite often. And the question is all about, the guy says to me, well, if you've got an LLC, limited liability company, when do you have to file your taxes? And I gave the answer that it depends, right? That's the standard answer. You ask anyone about tax law or law in general, especially tax law, you ask questions about it, you're going to get the answer, it depends, right? Either I don't know, I have to look it up, or it depends. So in this case, when is the filing deadline, especially if you have an entity like an LLC, all right? So we all know the filing deadline for a 1040, right? So a 1040 is the personal tax return that we all know about. That's what we file every year as an individual. And the general deadline for that is April 15th, right? And so it's 3 months and 15 days after the close of the year. So the year is over on December 31st. Boom, your filing deadline as an individual is April 15th, unless it falls on a weekend or a holiday, and then it's extended out by a couple of days. But just for sake of argument, let's call it the 15th, right? So April 15th, that's if you're an individual. Now, if you're a corporation, it can be 2 different filing deadlines. Why? Because a corporation can be taxed as a regular corporation, what we call a C Corp, letter C, right? Or it can be taxed as an S Corp, and I don't have enough fingers to make an S, but it's an S Corp, right? So it's a small business corporation, S Corp, okay? And so that's the 2 different modalities that you can have. So you got a corporation which is formed at the state level, and then you got tax-wise for the IRS, you got either one of 2 different ways that can be taxed, either C Corp or S Corp, right? Now, if you are an S Corp, your filing deadline is March 15th, okay? Why? Because if individuals have to file April 15th, and the money flows through, okay? There's a form called a K-1. This is all, terrible and complicated, but the long story short of it is that if you have an S Corp, the money from the S Corp and the information from the S Corp is going to flow through to the individual. And so the S Corp filing deadline is 30 days before the individual. So if you've got a corporation and it's an S Corp, that is due on March 15th. unless it has a different fiscal year. That's a whole nother story. But if your corporation, we're talking calendar year things, right? So if you're on a calendar year, January through December, and your corporation is a C Corp or a regular corporation, then your deadline is just like an individual because you got nothing flowing through, right? So C Corp is also April 15th. So corporation can either be March 15th or April 15th. That's the normal filing deadlines if you're on a calendar year basis. Now, if you have an LLC, which stands for a limited liability company, that can be taxed 3 different ways. You get to check off a box on your tax return and tell the IRS how you want to report and how you want to pay your taxes for your LLC. All right. So the first thing is if you are a sole member, which means you're the only owner of that LLC, then that LLC can be taxed as part of your personal tax return. So you put it on Schedule C, and in that case, if you're the only member of the LLC, you're the only owner, then you're taxed as part of your regular 1040, and so your filing deadline for that is going to be April 15th. Now, as an LLC, you can be taxed as a partnership. If there's more than one, let's say you got you and a couple of other guys, and these guys, they had the 3 brothers, right? That's the name of their business. And so it's 3 of them. And so the default for that, even though you can choose corporate, but the default for that is a partnership. So if you're a partnership, your tax is due, your return is due, Form 1065 on March the 15th. And the reason why is the same reason why we already talked about. It's you got stuff that flows through. Individuals have to file on April 15th. So in that case, the entity has to file March 15th so that it gives the individuals 30 days to file theirs based on what the entity filed, right? So if your LLC is individual sole member LLC, default is April 15th. That's your filing date. If it's a partnership and you got a couple of partners, then you're on March 15th. And an LLC can also be taxed as a corporation, and subset of that, it can either be an S Corp or a C Corp. If it's S, it's also March 15th, and if it is a C Corp taxation scheme, even though it's an LLC, it can be taxed as a C Corp, and then your filing deadline would be April 15th. So long story short, if you've got an LLC, it could either be that your taxes are due on March 15th, or it could be due on April 15th, depending on how you've chosen to have your LLC taxed. Okay, and so as I said, partnerships are the deadline is March 15th. If you're and all this is calendar year, so if you're on a January through December then it's March 15th or April 15th. Those are your 2 filing deadlines, and it depends how you've told the IRS that you want to be taxed. That's going to depend on when your filing deadline is going to be for your tax returns, okay? And that's for income tax, because other types of tax can be different also. But that's what the experts are for. And if you have questions about that, you can, of course, contact me. Feel free. I consult with anybody, and my telephone number is 713-333-0555. I'm here in Houston, Texas. I can talk to you on the phone. If you're in the Houston area, you can come by and see me. If you're not in the Houston area, I can do Zoom, no problem. Let me know. I don't charge for the initial consultation. And also, if you want to send me an email, which is probably the very best way to get in touch with me, it's jmitchell@cctaxlaw.com. Thanks very much for being with us. We are going to go to a quick break, and we will be back with the next segment of Legal Talk. I'm your host, John Mitchell. Stay right where you are. Don't go anywhere, and join us for the very next segment. We're going to have more good information for you, and thanks for being with us.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
The legal profession is not immune to the disruptive power of artificial intelligence. AI is reshaping the way lawyers research, analyze, and manage legal matters. AI-powered legal research tools can sift through vast volumes of legal documents, statutes, and case law in seconds, providing lawyers with comprehensive insights to build their cases. In courtrooms, AI is used to manage and present digital evidence effectively. It can organize and analyze evidence, making complex cases more understandable for judges and juries. In contract review, AI quickly identifies potential risks, inconsistencies, and compliance issues in legal contracts, saving valuable time and reducing human errors. The future of law is being shaped by AI. AI is streamlining legal research, improving courtroom presentations, enhancing contract analysis, and making legal information more efficient and accessible. Data Dive, infinite insights instantly.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Hi, my name is Michelle Merhar. You may remember me from the morning news. I'd like to tell you how getting data and documents into action fast gives you a competitive edge. Digital-first thinking to manage document workflows efficiently are giving all organizations a competitive edge. In fact, digital document automation is an essential process, helping us to become more profitable and to compete. By making any process paperless with secure automation, decisions can be made efficiently, virtually from anywhere. You'll be able to find and share documents securely in seconds. Your staff will be empowered by making optimal use of every office hour. And by the way, the size of your organization doesn't matter. Precision Products has been helping organizations for more than 30 years with paper to digital processes, including scanning systems for any document to premises and cloud document management systems. We make it easy and scalable for your business process needs from the office or other locations, even mobile devices. Contact us to see how we can help your organization succeed. Contact Will Waterall direct at 713-446-5939 and visit us on the web at precisionproductsinc.com.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Well, Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to Legal Talk. We are here in our home on the interwebs and on the air, Now Media Television. So happy that you're here. I am your host, John Mitchell, and boy, oh boy, do we have some excellent information for you today. Because I've been asked this, and this is a question that comes up all the time, right? It comes up all the time. What is the way? All right, so let's say at the end of the year, I might owe money on my tax return, right? So at the end of the year, let's say I think I might owe money. How is the proper way, the correct way that I should go about setting aside money and paying my taxes to the IRS? And I am going to introduce everybody out there today to what is called the 1040-ES, or estimated tax payments, okay? Now, the legally correct way to do this is, let's say you have a business. I don't know, call it a lawn care business, right? Or maybe you sell stuff on Etsy, right? Whatever it is. So you got yourself a small business, and most of us are not used to, by the way, worrying about taxes, because our employers, if you have a W-2, you get money withheld from your paycheck, and then, you know, the employer takes care of all of that in the background and just sends that money to the IRS for you. Hopefully so, knock on wood, that they send it in and don't just pocket it. But the correct way is, if you're getting taxes withheld, the employer is sending that to the IRS on your behalf, right? Now, if you are self-employed or have a gig or a side hustle, whatever the case may be, whatever terminology you want to use, you're self-employed, you're making money, be it a cash or whatever, and now you wonder, okay, at the end of the year, I'm probably going to owe some money. How do I go about setting aside money? The best case scenario is, okay, legally, let me start off with this. You are supposed to, every 3 months, you're supposed to write a check and send it to the IRS, or you can pay it online electronically, but I'm stuck in the old times, right? So thinking about writing a check. But the long story short of it is, what you need to do is every 3 months, write a check, quote unquote, to the IRS and send it in and make an estimated tax payment. The estimated tax payment is really nothing more than just, if I think I'm going to owe, let's say, $2,000 at the end of the year. The year is 12 months. It's divided up into 4 quarters, 3 months each, right? So January, February, March, right, is the first quarter. That's the first quarter of the year. So at the end of that first quarter, if at the end of the year I think I'm going to owe $2,000, the legally correct way is, I'm supposed to write a check for $500 and send that to the IRS at the end of those first 3 months. The next 3 months is going to be April, May, and June, right? So then in July, by the 15th of July, I'm going to write another check for $500, and that's going to be my estimated payment for the second quarter, and so on and so forth. So then fast forward all the way through December 31st, and then that's the fourth quarter. And so in January, I'm going to send a check for $500 to the IRS, apply it to the fourth quarter, and now what have I done? Throughout the year, I have filed 4 quarters of taxes, right? So that's going to be the first quarter, second, third, and fourth quarter. So it's going to be 4 quarters. I've sent $500 each. That's $2,000. And then when I sit down to do my tax return, I say, okay, I calculate how much it really was. Oh my goodness, guess what? Instead of $2,000, I owed only $1,800. Okay, so now what's going to happen? I'm going to get money back, right? IRS is going to give me the change. Now, if I owe money more than the $2,000, that's okay. I was just estimating, but I'm supposed to get within about 90% correct, right? So if I estimated $2,000 and I made my 4 payments throughout the year, $500 each, and now at the end of the year I sit down, I do my tax return, holy crap, now I don't owe $2,000. When I actually do my taxes, it turns out I owe $2,200. Right? So now I'm going to write a check for $200 to the IRS, send it in, and now my taxes for last year have been completely all paid up. So you are, the legally correct way is, you're supposed to be paying your taxes as you go every 3 months during the year. Right? That's the answer. Now, the other answer is, how do I set, the question really asked of me was, how do I set aside money? Well, you have to figure out, a lot of people go by a set percentage, right? And they'll have money in a savings account. And so every time they get paid, so every time I get a check from, or cash from business, from whatever I did, every time I sell something on Etsy, I'm going to set aside a percentage of that. A lot of people pick either 25% or 30%, 20%, whatever the case may be. So if I go out and sell a bunch of stuff on Etsy, I make $1,000, I receive that money, immediately set aside $250, whatever it may be, to my savings account. And that savings account is what I'm going to use at the end of every 3 months to go ahead and make those estimated tax payments to the IRS. So you're supposed to be setting money aside and in a savings account or checking account, whatever the case may be, and then every 3 months, write a check, send it to the IRS so that you can have your estimated tax payments all paid up to date. Now, there is another way to go about it. For example, I know some people and they just don't like to remember to make this payment every 3 months. And so what these folks did is they have, these people I know, business owners, they set their account up through their bank so that the bank automatically every Friday takes $500 out of their bank account and sends it to the IRS. So even though the legally correct way is to pay the IRS every 3 months, the IRS doesn't mind if you pay them more often than that. They mind if you don't pay. There's penalties if you don't pay at least every 3 months, but that's the minimum. You can always exceed that. You could pay every day if you wanted to, right? You could pay twice a day if you wanted to. No big deal, right? The IRS will take your money whenever you send it to them. So these people that I know, they just have an automatic payment coming out of their bank account. Every Friday, $500 goes to the IRS, and then at the end of the year, that would be $26,000 if my mathematics is not faltering, right? I'm doing math, live on the recording. That is not, not good, but I think that turns out to be $26,000 throughout the year. And so at the end of the year, if they only owe $25,000, then they get that money back. If they owe extra, then they, of course, have the option to just write a check when they do their tax return and pay the difference, right? So they can do that. Now, I also know a lady who owns a couple of businesses, and another thing you can do. Let's say you're supposed to get money back. You do your tax return. Oh my goodness, I'm supposed to get a refund, right? IRS owes me money. Well, a lot of people don't know this or haven't thought of it, but you can either have the IRS send that money to you, or you can just roll the money over to the next year. And so that's what this particular lady that I'm thinking of, what she does. She owns a few businesses and she's doing, pretty well for herself. And so every year when we do her tax return, by design, she has paid in a little bit too much because she likes to overpay. She never wants to end up owing the government money. It's a psychological thing. It's an older lady, went through the Depression, and so she just is in a mindset that she does not want to sit down and find out that she owes the government money. So what she does is she makes sure that she overpays. And when we do the tax return, we say, oh, my goodness, ma'am, we did your tax return. It's ready. Here, sign here. By the way, the IRS owes you $5,000. Okay, well, instead of the IRS sending me that money, now I'm going to go ahead and have the IRS hold on to that. We're just going to roll it over and apply it to the next year, which you can certainly do. So she makes estimated tax payments every 3 months, but also every year the IRS ends up owing her a little money, and she always just rolls that over to her next tax return so that there's always money, plenty of money. She never ends up owing the government. She just prefers it that way. She wants them to owe her money. Now, finally, I'll just say one more thing about this. If you are, even if you do have a side hustle like an Etsy, or you sell stuff on the flea market, or you clean houses, I know a lot of ladies do that. So if you're doing some kind of side hustle and you think you might owe money, but let's say you've got a regular W-2 job. you can have your employer take out extra money. So let's say based on your salary, your employer is taking out $250 every paycheck, $300 every paycheck, right? And you know yourself that you're doing a side hustle. At the end of the year, you're likely to owe money. So what you can do is fill out paperwork at your job and have them, hey boss, instead of taking $250 out of each paycheck, take $350 out of each paycheck. And at the end of the year, that's going to show up on your W-2 form as money that has been withheld. But the IRS doesn't care that you did or didn't make the every 3-month payments. As long as at the end of the year you don't end up owing, it's all good. So the other way to go about it, if you do have a regular salaried job, you can always go ahead and have your employer take out extra withholdings from your regular paychecks and take out enough holdings so that it covers whatever extra money you might owe from your side hustle. And so that's one way to go about it. Now, if you're completely unsure how much money you might owe at the end of the year, the safe harbor is to take last year's tax due, right? So you can find that on your tax return. Last year I owed $10,000. So guess what? This year I'm gonna pretend that my estimated tax is $10,000. So you're allowed to do that as long as you're not way up there in the stratosphere making well into the 6 figures. Then it goes from 100 to 110%. For most people, you can do that. And one of the things you might do, make an appointment, call on the phone, go by, see your tax professional, enrolled agent, CPA, tax attorney, whatever you want to do. You can come to see me or a person like me. We'll help you sit down and figure out what is the correct amount of estimated taxes that you should be paying. So if you want to do that with me, I don't charge for an initial consultation. So my telephone number, I am here in Houston, Texas, of course, and so phone number 713-333-0555, and my email, which is probably an even better way to get a hold of me, jmitchell@cctaxlaw.com. And I'm happy to talk to you, happy that you are out there joining us on the program. My, oh my, I am so excited that you're with us on Legal Talk. I hope this has been really good information, that you're able to get some use out of it and do things the correct way, steer clear of needing me to fix your IRS problems later on. Tackle it up front. So I have been your host for the show today, John Mitchell. This is Legal Talk. Thanks for being with us, and we will catch you next time.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
The legal profession is not immune to the disruptive power of artificial intelligence. AI is reshaping the way lawyers research, analyze, and manage legal matters. AI-powered legal research tools can sift through vast volumes of legal documents, statutes, and case law in seconds, providing lawyers with comprehensive insights to build their cases. In courtrooms, AI is used to manage and present digital evidence effectively. It can organize and analyze evidence, making complex cases more understandable for judges and juries. In contract review, AI quickly identifies potential risks, inconsistencies, and compliance issues in legal contracts, saving valuable time and reducing human errors. The future of law is being shaped by AI. AI is streamlining legal research, improving courtroom presentations, enhancing contract analysis, and making legal information more efficient and accessible. Data Dive, infinite insights instantly.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Hi, my name is Michelle Merhar. You may remember me from the morning news. I'd like to tell you how getting data and documents into action fast gives you a competitive edge. Digital-first thinking to manage document workflows efficiently are giving all organizations a competitive edge. In fact, digital document automation is an essential process, helping us to become more profitable and to compete. By making any process paperless with secure automation, decisions can be made efficiently, virtually from anywhere. You'll be able to find and share documents securely in seconds. Your staff will be empowered by making optimal use of every office hour. And by the way, the size of your organization doesn't matter. Precision Products has been helping organizations for more than 30 years with paper to digital processes, including scanning systems for any document to premises and cloud document management systems. We make it easy and scalable for your business process needs from the office or other locations, even mobile devices. Contact us to see how we can help your organization succeed. Contact Will Waterall direct at 713-446-5939 and visit us on the web at precisionproductsinc.com.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be, whatever time it is. Very happy to have you here. Thanks very much. This is Legal Talk. I am your host, John Mitchell. And today, you know, the great American poet said, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes if you try, you get what you need. And boy, oh boy, buckle your seatbelts, strap yourselves in, because today I absolutely have what you need. We are very pleased, overjoyed to have with us immigration attorney extraordinaire, one of the best, top of her field, Ingrid Perez. Ingrid, welcome to Legal Talk, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, John.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, well, jumping right in, Ingrid. I think that we have some questions from people out there. You know, inquiring minds want to know. So, what can you tell us about visas, work visas coming to the United States? Well, what kind of, first of all, kind of run down for us, what are the categories of visa that we're going to talk about today? You said EB1, EB2?
So we're going to talk about focusing on small business owners and how they can benefit from our immigration laws, specifically focusing on H-1B, potentially the EB2 or EB3 visa, and how small businesses can navigate those visa options.
Oh my goodness! Well, that sounds very exciting. So the H-1B visa, tell us a little bit about what that is and how might small business owners qualify, or how might they take advantage of that?
Sure. So the H-1B is a very common non-immigrant visa that allows U.S. employers to hire foreign workers for specialty occupations. So eligibility is limited to people who have specialized knowledge or bachelor's degree or higher. Typical jobs in for this H-1B visa are things like engineers, mathematicians, things like that that require specialized knowledge. And for small businesses, the first thing that they have to consider is the ability to pay the wage for the employee that they're looking to hire. So it's really important to talk to an immigration attorney to make sure that the small business has that ability to pay and the evidence they need to prove it.
All right, so evidence to prove that you have the ability to pay, because correct me if I'm wrong. So if an employer wants to sponsor somebody through this type of visa, H-1B visa, so you need to prove that you have the wherewithal to pay the wage, because correct me if I'm wrong, but you cannot offer lower wages than the prevailing wage for that job type in the United States. Is that correct?
That's right, because the law requires that you pay a fair wage, and part of that process is getting a labor certification through the Department of Labor to make sure that the wage that's being offered is normal within the industry. So that is actually one of the first things that the employer has to do during this H-1B process.
Okay, great. So, all right. So, the labor certification, and what kind of evidence or what kind of justification? How would they go about showing or proving that they have the wherewithal? What would that be required to show that they have the wherewithal to pay these prevailing wages?
So for this, usually an attorney can assess the company's financial strengths to make that determination and make sure that the job that's being offered to the foreign national is one that the employer can pay. So the first thing that I usually ask employers is, what is the job that you're offering? What is the position? What are the minimum requirements? And what is the salary that the company can pay? With that information, I'm able to do some research to kind of understand what is normal, what is typical for the industry, and then assess and analyze the company's financials to see, okay, this employer can prove that they can pay the wage, which is something that a small business, is really important for small businesses to consider, especially given that the H-1B is a lottery. Legal fees and government fees can add up to thousands of dollars. So when small businesses go on to make that investment, it's worth, making sure that they're going to meet all the eligibility requirements and get the final result that they want.
And that's why it's important, of course, to bring on a talented professional such as yourself with experience, so that they can know up front before they go any further and spend buku bucks on it, and make sure that you take a look and give a green light and make sure they're going to be able to qualify. So that's a very important, I think, a very important takeaway for everybody out there. Okay, so that's the H-1B visa. Now, what about distinguish for us, please? What's the difference between that and the other visas that you mentioned, EB-2, EB-3s?
So H-1B is a temporary visa. It is something that is not going to be forever, right? It is for temporary work. The EB-2 or the EB-3 is for a permanent position. So think of immigration, the different immigration options, right? You have non-immigrant visas, you have immigrant visas. EB-2 and EB-3 are immigrant visas and lead to permanent residency. And for that, what the employer has to have is a permanent job offer for the foreign national. And similar to the H-1B, the employer has to make sure that they have the ability to pay as well.
Oh my goodness. So EB-2, EB-3. So what would be the distinction between those two? So you got an EB-2 and EB-3. How do you know which one you would want to go for, between those two?
It depends on the job that the foreign national is coming here to do. So for example, if the job requires a bachelor's degree or an advanced degree, depending on some jobs that require a bachelor's degree, you would opt for the EB-2. It's just a different classifications of visas based on the profession. So for example, EB-3 can be for unskilled labor, roofers, dishwashers, or it can be also for sometimes people in a profession like an executive manager or an executive assistant or things like that. So it just really depends on the job and the minimum requirements, and that's how we would classify them according to the immigration law, whether it's EB-2 or EB-3 classification.
Wow, that is great information. Well, again, I stress to the folks out there, you want to hire Ingrid or hire somebody like Ingrid that knows all of the ins and outs of these different types of visas. That is excellent and great information. I am so pleased and happy that Ingrid was able to share all of that with us. And so, Ingrid, anything else that you think we might want to add to that conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. These processes are very lengthy. They are very expensive, and it's really important for any employer who wants to proceed with some of these, with either one of these processes to really make sure that they know the road ahead. Having, the foundation for these processes laid out in front of them is really important because the employer obviously wants the employee here in the United States as soon as possible. But unfortunately, the government is not going to work on the employer's time or the employee's time. We have to work within the constraints of the government and the time limits that unfortunately we have no choice but to face.
Right. Okay. So very important piece of advice there. It's not going to be cheap and it's not going to be, necessarily quick. The government works on, they immerse be their own drum. Right. And,
Yeah.
don't look at the clock, look at the calendar. I tell people sometimes when I'm dealing with the IRS. So I'm sure it's the same with immigration. So calendar, not clock. So anyway, Ingrid, we really appreciate all the good information you bring in to the table today. I'm sure it's going to be very useful for everybody out there. So if you can, please let us know. Suppose a small business owner out there wants to hire the best immigration attorney in Houston. How do they go about contacting you?
They can go to my website, ibplaw.com, get a hold of me. I'd be happy to speak to anybody out there who's looking for an immigration attorney. If I can't help, I can definitely give a referral too.
Okay, so go to your website. Well, that is wonderful. Ingrid, thanks very much again for being on Legal Talk. We really appreciate all the information you brought forward and hope that you're able and available to help everybody out there that wants to give you a call or click on your website, find you. Word to the wise out there, everybody. If you think you want to go down this road, you think you need some immigration work, and involve a professional up front. Make sure that you have somebody competent that's going to help you. There's a lot of shysters, a lot of funny business going on out there in the world. So make sure that you hire somebody competent. Get in contact with Ingrid, and she is going to definitely steer you in the right direction. Okay. So thanks everybody for being with us out there in the audience today. This has been Legal Talk. I am your host, John Mitchell. We're going to go for some commercial breaks, and we will be right back after that.
Are you ready to shake up the world of health with me? Welcome to Disruptive Health, where we are flipping the script on traditional wellness. I'm Dr. Denise Brown, and on this show, we are diving deep into the latest trends and breakthroughs in health and wellness. Whether you're curious about nutrition, exploring new therapies, or just want to live your best life, Disruptive Health is your guide. Don't miss Disruptive Health, coming soon to NowMedia TV.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company, the time you spend with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to Legal Talk on the Now Media Network. I am John Mitchell, host of the show. And you know, the great American poet once said, "You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you might just find you get what you need." And boy, oh boy, do I have a treat for everybody out there today. I've got exactly what you need. I am here, very honored, very privileged to be here with my good friend, Jason Thomas, who goes by JT. He is an agent, a business agent extraordinaire with a celebrity branding agency, and we've got some great information to share with you about how professionals can, I guess, kind of burnish their image. How, it's very important what you do, sell yourself as a professional person. And so JT is here to talk to us a little bit about what he does and how that can help with your professional image out there. So buckle in and get ready for a great ride, because JT is with us today. JT, thanks very much for being on the show, and thanks for being here with us. So what do you got for us, JT? Welcome.
John, wow, man. All I can say is thank you for one heck of an introduction. You make me feel like I'm the celebrity around here. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Happy to help bring your followers up to, how you can really do this personal branding thing and do it well so that people see you as an authority, an expert in your industry.
Man, that is very important what you said. You threw out a term there, personal branding, and then you said authority in your industry. So tell us, well, first of all, let's talk a little bit about JT. I like for people out there in the audience to know who they're looking at, right? So what is it exactly that you call yourself? When people say, what do you do? What do you call yourself? And then how did you kind of get into this line of work?
Yeah, that's a great question. Makes total sense. Technically, right now, my business title is that of being a business agent. Very similar to that of a musician's agent, where I help my clients get more eyeballs on them so that they can grow their personal brand and really grow their business with a lot less work, a lot less effort, because, when you position yourself as an expert, that's the guy everybody wants to be able to work with. And getting to this, that's a heck of an interesting story, but I'm a business agent now. At my core and my heart, I'm always going to be a coach. I've been a coach for 15 years, started in the health and fitness industry, working with professional and college, high school level athletes so that they could be literal bigger, better, badder versions of themselves. And I took that and brought my coaching into the business world where I used to coach people in sales and marketing. On the back of me, thankfully, getting to do some pretty cool things in my business career, I took all of that and eventually ended up in the consulting world. During COVID, I flew around the country helping keep small businesses alive. Quickly learned that flying just isn't really all that fun when you've got to deal with 5,000 people that are trying to do it all at the same time. During COVID, a little bit weird being only 4 people on a plane, but man, was that so much easier. Jokes aside, I eventually ended up coming back here to Orlando, continuing in the coaching and consulting world, found my way into branding consulting, more because it's just a lot more fun than talking about P&Ls and balance sheets with people. I think that's pretty much a nutshell of what that is.
Right. Okay. So now back to my my previous comment. Okay. So you talked about authority and generating that authority. So that, I guess, I heard a while back somebody say you got to get people to know, like, and trust you. And so if you're a professional out there watching the show, you're trying to get people to know, like, and trust you, that is the key to how you can eventually ring that cash register, right? And so JT is going to help you with that. So tell us, what is personal branding and how do you help people do that?
So personal branding can mean a lot of different things. At its core, branding is strategic communications between a business or a person and the people that they would like to have their story, their influence, their authority put in front of. And it really all comes back to that. It's doing the things that position you as an expert in your industry, but doing so in a very authentic kind of way. I tell everybody that I work with that what we're going to do is essentially strap a megaphone to you and get your story, out in front of more people so that they can start developing those bonds with you before you've even gotten a chance to talk to them. When somebody's regularly consuming the content that you create, showing people who you are, why you do what you do, why you're passionate about helping other people, it starts to allow them to build a relationship with you that you haven't had to take part in. And when you look at the market today, people have choices on choices on choices of where they spend their money. And we're finding more and more on a daily basis that people are choosing to spend their money with the people, like you just said, that they know, like, and trust. So the whole goal behind personal branding is strategic communications to help you build relationships with the people that you would like to work with so that you can grow your business faster with a little less effort.
This kind of reminds me, a couple of years back, I had an opportunity here in Houston at an event to meet somebody that was kind of I guess you'd call not a major celebrity. I didn't get to meet Jennifer Lawrence or anything. I got to meet with, kind of like a B-lister, you might say. Okay. And it was so exciting to me, because I said, well, and I told him, I said, I know you don't know me and I don't want to come off, a certain way, but like, I feel like I've seen you on YouTube, I've seen you on TV, I've seen you, and I feel like I know you. And here internally within me, I felt like I knew that person. And so that's kind of what you're getting at, right? You help people to put their image out there so that others can develop a relationship without you having to actually put in the time to do individual relationships with, maybe hundreds of people or thousands of people. So once you're out there and people kind of get to know you through the efforts of guys like JT, then that is a way for you to get in front of people, and you've started off on second base, so to speak, right? People already know who you are, and so that's kind of a leg up in the marketplace. And JT touched on it. Man, it is a dog-eat-dog world out there, and sometimes you're wearing milk-bone underwear, man. You got to make sure that people out there know who you are so that they can trust you, and that's going to give you just that little bit of edge. Now, what I wanted to ask you about Because for the folks out there that don't know, I've been working with JT myself, and I've found it to be very, very important and invaluable, right? And so
I appreciate that.
tell us, please, about the three legs of the stool, right? Because if you sit on a stool, like I'm sitting on a stool right now, if it only had one leg or two legs, I'd be pretty hard pressed to keep a balance on this thing. So if it's got three legs, then you're better off. So tell us, what is the whole philosophy behind what you do for people about the three-legged stool? I found very interesting.
For sure. Yeah. Our three-legged stool is what we know as to make personal branding work. And we call it actually our business trifecta. The stool is a great analogy to make it make sense, because when you're looking at the business trifecta, that's media, marketing, and PR. You got to have all three of them working synergistically together, or you're going to find that the whole program's just going to end up falling flat. Just like that two-legged stool, or hopefully not just a one-legged stool, you just don't have the balance that you need to be able to stay for the long haul. So it all starts at the top with your media. Media is simply your medium to get to tell your story. It could be a million different platforms at this point, right? We've got streaming media, we've got major cable media, social media, print, and the list goes on and on. That's your place to be able to start it all out. That's your story. That's essentially you standing from the rooftops and shouting out, "Come work with me." You can only yell so loud, though, so only so many people can hear you. To amplify that, you bring in the second pillar. You bring that marketing in. This is just essentially paying to get your media, your story out there in front of more people. Now, you've taken the guy standing on the rooftop. He's out there. He's got vocals now. He can get that message out in front of people. But if all you ever focus on is just the two legs there, you're still not stable. Things are going to eventually fall over. And you're going to kind of turn into the boy that cried wolf here, right? When it's just you constantly reminding everybody on a daily basis that you're a great person that they can trust and do work with, eventually people are going to start looking at you and they're going to go, "I get you. I heard you today. I heard you yesterday. I heard you last week, last month, the month before that. Man, maybe let somebody else take a time to talk." Your marketing kind of hits a point of diminishing returns when you get to this point, because you don't have the big part, that third piece, the PR, the personal relationships. This is the backup dancers coming in on stage to make your performance that much better. It's other people corroborating your story for you to bring more authority, more authenticity, more believability, because it's not just you saying it anymore. If other people are saying it, maybe it's time people really start to take notice. So that's our business trifecta, really. That's how you effectively get your story out in front of people. Of course, that's a very high level look at all that. We can get much deeper into that with all the activators and the different things going in with it. But I think that's probably enough for your audience right now.
Well, the main thing that I'm understanding here, that my takeaway of this, you've got to be deliberate, you've got to be strategic, and you've got to, be focused on making this happen. So business trifecta, right? So is there any kind of standout kind of a story that you know that you can tell us? Somebody, big success story, anything like that?
Oh gosh. I mean, with NDAs involved, I can't bring names, but I've got stories on stories. I've got clients that, working with us back in, 10 years ago, they did a speaking event with us to learn public speaking better on stage at the UN. She's now one of the lead negotiators and conflict mitigators for the UN. I got a client that I recently worked with on becoming a best-selling author, that just by becoming a best-selling author, he landed a 35% equity stake in another company that was trying to enter his market just for being that guy, having that book.
Wow. Hey,
I've seen
great. Those are great results, man. And anybody out there that wants to, get some results like that, like I know it's been working really well for me. How in the world would people go about finding you, JT?
Yeah, the easiest way to reach me is simply just email me. It's JT at celebritybrandingagency.com. Don't put the in there. It won't get you to me. So again, with a little more clarity, like it is on screen, it's JT at celebritybrandingagency.com. I would love to work with anybody that is watching this video. My whole goal in life being a coach is just to help people become better at what they are already good at.
Well, that you are a super valuable resource to me, and I know you'll be a valuable resource if anybody, is looking for something like this.